Chosen one. The world may see you as ordinary, but heaven has already named you a legend. This moment is not coincidence, it is divine alignment. Everything you have walked through, every valley you thought would bury you, has only been preparation. You have been hidden, yes, but never forgotten. When you felt unseen, heaven was watching. When you felt weak, heaven was strengthening you. There is a reason you never blended in. You tried to follow the patterns of others, but something inside always resisted. That resistance was the mark of your calling. You were not made to echo the noise of the crowd. You were carved out to release a sound the world has never heard before. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To the unknowing eye, it looks like death, like silence, but hidden underground, transformation is taking place. The shell breaks, roots spread, and soon, what was unseen pierces through the surface. That seed is you, chosen to rise at the right time. The breaking was never the end, it was the beginning. Let me tell you about a young woman who lived like this seed. She spent years waiting, wondering why doors never opened for her when others seemed to find success easily. She felt delayed, even overlooked, but in her quiet season, she grew in wisdom, resilience, and faith. And when her appointed time arrived, she was ready not just to succeed, but to carry others with her. That is the hidden work God does in His chosen ones. Perhaps you can see yourself in her story. The Word of God shines over your path today. In the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 24, though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with His hand. Take this as your anchor. You may have stumbled, but you will not be destroyed. Every step has been ordered. Every fall has been caught. You are still standing because heaven has held you. Now see yourself not as broken, but as a warrior rising. Your scars are not stains, they are medals. They testify that you survived what others could not, and the fact that you are here, breathing, listening, proves that your story is not finished. In truth, it is only beginning. Picture this, a flame burning in the darkness. It flickers, but does not go out. The winds come. The night presses in. Yet the flame survives. That is you. And soon, that small flame will become a blazing torch, lighting the path for others. The world will not be able to deny what God has placed inside you. Chosen one. This message is not for you to keep silent. Let it move through you. Share it so that another hidden seed can be encouraged to rise. Like, leave your words in the comments, and subscribe so these reminders can continue to reach you in your journey. Your obedience to share may be the very reason another soul chooses to keep going. Before you move on, seal this word in faith. Type the number 77 inches, the comments below. Let it be your declaration. My steps are firm. My future is secure. And heaven calls me a legend. And remember this, legends are not born from comfort, but from fire. You are the living proof that survival becomes testimony, and testimony becomes glory. Keep rising. Chosen one. You carry scars that speak louder than words. Some are hidden deep in your soul, some etched quietly across your heart. And though others may never see them, they are there. But scars are not signs of defeat. They are the evidence that you survived. They prove that the fire came, the storm struck, The night pressed in, and still you endured. The world may call them wounds, but heaven calls them proof. Think back to the nights when you questioned if you could keep going. You whispered prayers through tears that soaked your pillow. You carried burdens silently because no one seemed to understand. And yet, here you are. Not because you are strong in yourself, but because God's hand has been carrying you, even in the moments you felt forgotten. There was once a man who bore scars that the world mocked. His name was Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned. His entire life seemed to crumble before his eyes. Each betrayal carved another scar into his spirit. But those very scars positioned him to save nations from famine. What looked like loss was shaping him into a vessel of destiny. Joseph's scars were his credentials, proving he had walked the path others could not. So it is with you. Picture a tree that has stood for centuries. Its bark is rough, scarred with marks from storms and lightning strikes. Yet those scars do not weaken the tree, they show its strength. They tell the story of survival, of storms weathered, of roots that ran deep enough to withstand the winds. In the same way, your scars declare your resilience. The Apostle Paul wrote in the letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 8, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." These words echo through your story. You were pressed, but not crushed. You were struck down, but not destroyed. The evidence is in your scars. You may sometimes look at your past and feel shame, wondering why you had to suffer so much. But heaven sees it differently. Every scar is like ink on a page of your destiny. Without them, the story would not be complete. Without them, the testimony would lack power. Without them, the legend you are becoming would not shine as brightly. Let me bring you closer. Imagine your scars as windows. When light shines through cracked glass, it scatters in unexpected patterns, casting beauty across the room. That is what your scars do. They let the light of God pour through you in ways perfect vessels never could. Your brokenness is not the end. It is the place where glory leaks out. Perhaps you feel like people only remember the mistakes, the losses, or the failures. But know this, heaven remembers the endurance, the prayers, the hidden faith you held when no one was watching. Heaven calls you faithful, even when you felt weak. Heaven calls you strong, even when you thought you were breaking. And so, your scars become your authority. When you speak, you do not speak from theory, but from experience. You know the valley, you know the pit, you know the lonely nights. And that knowledge makes you a guide for those who walk the same path now. Chosen one, you are not disqualified because of your scars. You are qualified by them. They testify that you did not quit. They reveal that you are still standing, and standing strong. The world may overlook scars, but heaven crowns them. In the presence of God, your scars are not ugly, they are glorious. They are the very marks that prove you are His chosen, His legend in the making. There is something about you that unsettles the atmosphere. When you enter a place, conversations shift, hearts stir, and darkness feels exposed. You carry light that is not your own. It flows from the one who chose you. This is why some people feel drawn to you, while others avoid you without reason. The truth is, the light you carry reveals what is hidden. Think of a lamp placed in a dark cave. The cave has been silent for centuries, shadows untouched. But the moment light enters, the stillness is broken. Hidden things are revealed. Shapes once unknown are now exposed. That lamp does not need to announce itself, it simply shines. So it is with you. You do not have to prove who you are. Your very presence carries fire. This explains why your life has often felt like a battlefield. The opposition you face is not because you are weak, but because you are marked. The enemy has always feared you would realize the weight of your calling. And now, as you awaken to the truth of your identity, the resistance intensifies. But remember, resistance is proof of value. No thief breaks into an empty house. There was once a prophet named Elisha who walked with such light that even kings sought his counsel. Armies feared him because he could hear their plans before they were spoken aloud. His presence disrupted darkness. That same spirit rests upon you. Heaven has invested authority in your words, and your very prayers cause tremors in the unseen realm. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 18, the path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. This is your journey. You are not fading, you are brightening. Your influence, your clarity, your inner fire will only increase. But understand this, light always exposes. It reveals not only the good, but also the hidden things people would rather keep in shadow. Do not be surprised if your presence makes some uncomfortable. Do not take it personally if people withdraw or criticize. The truth is, your light is confronting their darkness. Imagine yourself as a torch carried into a battlefield at night. Warriors on both sides see it. For some, it is a sign of courage and guidance. For others, it is a threat that their hiding places are no longer safe. That torch is you, unavoidable, indéniable, unstoppable, chosen one. Your light is not fragile. It is not a flicker about to die out. It is the fire of God, and it terrifies every plan of the enemy. That is why, even in your weakest moments, darkness still could not overcome you, and it never will. Now, pause for a moment. Let this truth settle deep within. You are not a victim of the battle. You are the weapon in it, and the enemy knows it. That is why you have felt the pressure, the misunderstandings, the rejection, not because you are failing, but because you are shining. To seal this moment, I want you to write something in the comments as a declaration of agreement. Type these words: I shine fearlessly. This short sentence means you believe your light cannot be silenced or dimmed. No matter how much darkness surrounds you, it is both a statement of faith and a banner of courage over your own journey. Your story is not simply about survival, it is about disruption. You are the light that cannot be silenced. There are moments in your story when rejection felt like a curse. People turned away. Doors closed without explanation. Opportunities slipped through your fingers. You questioned yourself. Was it something you said? Something you lacked? Something about you that was never enough? Yet the truth you could not see then is this: rejection was not God abandoning you, but God reserving you. Imagine a banquet table where every seat is full. You approach, longing for a place, but the host gently tells you there is no room. You walk away with disappointment in your chest, unaware that the host was saving a seat at a greater table, one where your presence was not just welcomed, but required. That is what God has done in your life. He has reserved you for something higher. Think about Joseph once more. His brothers rejected him, sold him, and thought his dreams were foolish. That rejection became the very path to the throne of Egypt. Or consider Moses, rejected by his people when he tried to deliver them in his own strength. Yet years later, he returned, chosen by God, carrying the authority to lead millions into freedom. Rejection did not erase their calling, it redirected it. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. When people turned away, this plan did not change. When doors closed, heaven's blueprint did not crumble. God was not protecting others from you. He was protecting you from places that could not carry your destiny. Picture a precious violin, hand-carved and tuned with perfection. Would the maker leave it in the hands of anyone who passed by? No. It would be kept safe until the right musician came. One who knew how to draw out its beauty. That is you. God has reserved you, not for careless hands, but for the right moment, the right purpose, the right unveiling. There is a hidden mercy in rejection. Every no you received was a divine barrier, shielding you from lesser things. Every door that slammed was God, whispering, "Not this one, not yet." You felt the sting, but heaven was writing a larger story. Rejection is often redirection, sometimes upward, sometimes forward, but always toward your true purpose. Even Jesus himself faced rejection. The very ones he came to save often mocked him, doubted him, turned away. Yet that rejection became the doorway to redemption. The cross was not the end of his story, it was the turning point. And the same pattern echoes through your life. The places you were shut out of are not worthy to define you. The story heaven is writing is greater than what anyone else could have offered. You may look back and still feel the ache of being overlooked. But remember, being unseen does not mean being unchosen. Sometimes the crown is placed in silence, with no audience watching, only heaven applauding. And when the moment comes for unveiling, it will be undeniable. So do not carry bitterness over the doors that never opened. Do not curse the seasons when you were left out. Instead, recognize them as proof of preservation. If you had been accepted everywhere, you would have lost yourself. If every door had opened, you might have stepped into places unworthy of you. But God has been keeping you, guarding you, reserving you. Chosen one. Rejection was never the end of your story. It was the handwriting of heaven guiding you into the right chapter. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are reserved. And soon the world will see why. The journey you are walking is not on quiet ground. It is a battlefield. And the fact that you feel the pressure so often is not proof of weakness, but of destiny. The enemy only fights what he fears. You, chosen one, are feared in the unseen realm because your obedience threatens to topple kingdoms of darkness. Think of a soldier stepping onto a field at dawn. His armor shines, his sword glints with light, and though the enemy surrounds him, he knows he is not alone. The battle is fierce, but victory has already been written. That soldier is you. The scars from your past, they are armor. The prayers you whispered in secret, they are arrows. The faith you cling to, that is your shield. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13, "Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground." This is not a suggestion, it is a declaration over your life. You are equipped, you are armed, and you are not standing in your own strength, but clothed in the authority of heaven itself. Now think of how every warrior prepares for battle. He sharpens his blade, steadies his breath, looks toward his commander. You too have been sharpening in secret, through trials that taught you resilience, through storms that taught you endurance. Each hardship has been training, and now, when the trumpet of heaven sounds, you will rise ready. But here is the mystery. Your battle is not only for yourself. Your victories unlock freedom for others. The chains you break do not just fall from your own wrists, they shake loose from those around you. This is why the resistance feels heavy, because your life is bigger than you. Your obedience ripples outward like waves from a stone thrown into the water. Imagine lighted torches carried by soldiers across a dark plain. One torch ignites another, then another, until the night itself cannot withstand the blaze. That is what happens when you let your light be seen. When you choose to keep standing, even in the fire, your endurance becomes courage for another. Your story becomes fuel for someone else's faith. And so, when I speak now of like, of share, of subscribe, it is not about numbers or platforms. It is as though you are lifting your torch, raising it high, saying, "I am part of this army." Every like is a spark. Every share is another flame passed on. Every subscribe is a soldier stepping into formation. It is not obligation, it is invitation. Think of it this way: a lighthouse on a stormy coast does not shine for itself. It shines to guide ships to safety. When you engage, you become that lighthouse, and your light reaches others still caught in the storm. You do not have to fight this battle alone. None of us were meant to. Your engagement, your choice to stand visible, is like answering the roll call on the battlefield. It is your way of saying, "I am here. I am ready. I will not retreat. Chosen one." You were never meant to fade quietly into the crowd. You were crafted to be a legend, a warrior, a torchbearer. Lift your flame, shine without apology. And know this, heaven is already declaring victory. The world will soon see why. There are turning points in your journey where heaven opens a seal and marks a new chapter. You are standing at one of those moments now. The weight of your past season is lifting, and something new is being written over your life. What once felt like delay will be revealed as divine timing. What seemed like silence was actually the sound of preparation. Chosen one. This is not coincidence. It is covenant. Every step you have taken, even the stumbling ones, has been part of heaven's design to bring you here. And now, heaven extends an invitation to you, a moment where your response in faith becomes a key that unlocks the next door. Think of Abraham, called to leave his home without a map. He walked with only a promise, yet his steps established a covenant that would bless generations. What looked like uncertainty was actually alignment. Your life carries that same weight of alignment. You are not just walking for yourself, you are walking for those who will come after you. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 30, "And those he predestined, he also called, Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. This is not a distant word, it is your reality. You have been predestined, called, justified, and now glorified. Heaven's stamp of ownership is upon you. Imagine a scroll sealed with wax. For years it rests, untouched, waiting for the right moment. When the appointed time comes, the seal is broken, and its contents are revealed. That scroll is your life. You have been hidden, sealed by God. And now he is breaking open the seal to reveal what has always been written about you. Do not underestimate this moment. There are seasons where heaven waits for your agreement, your yes, your act of faith, your declaration. That is why symbolic acts matter. They are not empty rituals, they are prophetic gestures. Just as Moses lifted his staff to part the waters, just as Joshua marched silently around Jericho, so too your simple act of faith becomes the catalyst for breakthrough. Your scars have testified. Your light has exposed darkness. Your endurance has spoken loudly. Now heaven says, it is time to step into covenant with boldness. Picture a bridge stretched across a raging river. On one side stands everything you've known: pain, delay, illness. On the other side waits destiny, unveiling, fulfillment. That bridge is faith, and to cross it, you must take a step that feels small, yet carries eternal weight. This is why I am asking you now to make a declaration in the simplest form. Type this number in the comments: 444. Why 444? Because it is a prophetic picture of open doors, stability, and the foundation heaven is laying beneath your feet. Each digit is like a pillar: Father, Son, Spirit, holding your destiny secure. When you write it, you are not just pressing keys, you are agreeing with heaven's architecture for your life. It may feel small, but in the unseen realm, it resounds. You are saying, I step into covenant. I choose stability. I embrace the foundation heaven has built for me. And heaven responds by aligning doors, people, and opportunities with your path. Chosen one. This is not just about you. When you take this step, you become a signal to others that covenant is possible. Your obedience becomes their courage. Your prophetic act becomes their testimony. The seal is broken. The chapter is turning. And as you type that number, remember, you are not just marking a screen, you are marking eternity. Every storm you have faced was not sent to destroy you, but to reveal the strength of your foundation. The rains came. The winds roared. The floods rose. And yet here you are still standing. This is proof that your life is anchored in something deeper than circumstance. You have seen people who looked strong on the surface collapse when storms came. Their confidence was built on shifting ground. And when pressure arrived, they could not endure. But your story is different. You have endured the breaking and the shaking because your roots run deep. The ground beneath you is not sand, but solid rock. The words of Jesus echo across the centuries in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 25. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. That house is your life. Storms have beaten against you, but you did not collapse. You stood, not because of luck, but because of the rock beneath you. Think of a great oak tree standing in the middle of a field. Every season, it faces storms. Its branches may bend, some may even break. But its trunk stands firm because its roots go deep into the earth. That is you. You have weathered seasons that should have destroyed you, but your roots in God's presence kept you alive. Your foundation has been tested again and again. When rejection pressed against your heart, your roots held you steady. When betrayal cut deep, your roots whispered truth that you were still loved. When loneliness threatened to suffocate you, your roots drew strength from the living water. You may have swayed, but you did not fall. And this is the evidence that you are chosen. You are not defined by what happened to you, but by what held you through it. The storms that came did not weaken your destiny, they proved it. Each trial became an examination, and you passed. Not because you were perfect, but because your anchor was faithful. Let me tell you the story of a man who built differently. He was a craftsman known in his village for his skill in stonework. While others built their houses quickly, he spent months digging into the earth, laying foundations deep with stone. People mocked him, calling him slow and foolish. Then a great storm came. The houses built in haste collapsed, but his stood firm. Years later, his house still stood as a monument to patience and wisdom. You are like that craftsman. Your hidden preparation is your strength. Your life may look ordinary to some, but heaven knows the weight of your foundation. Others may underestimate you, but storms never do. They have tested you and found you unshakable. Remember this: legends are not made in calm weather. They are forged in storms. A ship that has never faced the sea cannot call itself strong. But you have crossed waves, faced winds, and still sail forward. That is why heaven calls you unbreakable, chosen one. Never despise the storm. Without it, you would not know the depth of your strength. Without it, you would not see the rock beneath you. The storm is not your enemy, it is the stage upon which your foundation shines. And as more storms come, and they will, you need not fear. For each one only proves again and again that you are anchored, rooted, and established. Nothing can topple what God Himself has set on solid ground. There are seasons in your life that felt like silence, like you were hidden away while the world moved forward without you. Opportunities bypassed you, people overlooked you, and in the quiet, you wondered if perhaps you had been forgotten. But hiddenness is not abandonment. It is protection. It is cultivation. Think of a pearl inside an oyster. For years, it remains unseen, buried beneath the waves, hidden in the darkness of the shell. Yet all the while, beauty is being formed. When the moment comes, the pearl emerges, not raw or unfinished, but perfected. That is what God has done with you. He hid you, not to diminish you, but to protect the work He was doing within you. Every chosen one walks through a season of concealment. David was left tending sheep while his brothers stood tall before the prophet. Esther remained unknown in the palace until the right time arrived. Even Jesus lived 30 hidden years before 3 years of public ministry. Heaven hides what it values, and heaven has hidden you. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Colossians, chapter 3, verse 3, "For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. This is the secret of your season. Being hidden is not punishment, it is privilege. You were tucked away in God's hand, shielded from premature exposure, guarded from those who could not yet understand your worth. It is in hiddenness that roots grow deep. Seeds buried in the soil do not complain about the darkness, they use it to form strength. They break, sprout, and prepare for the moment when light calls them forth. Your hidden season has been the soil where your faith, your endurance, your wisdom, and your courage grew. There is a story of a sculptor who worked on a masterpiece behind closed doors. For years, no one saw the chisel marks, the fragments of stone, the hours of silence. Then one day he unveiled it, and the crowd stood in awe, unaware of the hidden labor that made it possible. You are that masterpiece. The silence was the sculptor's studio. Do not despise the years when you were unseen. They were not wasted. They were the years heaven whispered secrets into your spirit. The years strength was carved into your bones. The years resilience became your nature. The unveiling will come, and when it does, the world will marvel at what heaven has been forming in secret. Hiddenness also teaches discernment. When you are not in the spotlight, you learn to recognize the true voice of God. You learn to move without applause, to obey without recognition, to serve without reward. And that is what makes you unshakable when the crowd finally arrives. Picture a candle covered by a jar. To the outside, it seems extinguished, but under the covering, the flame continues to burn. Steady and sure, that covering is not to quench it, but to guard it until the wind can no longer blow it out. That covering has been your story, chosen one. Your hidden season has not disqualified you, it has qualified you. While others rushed ahead, you were being refined. While others sought applause, you sought depth. And now, the time approaches when hiddenness will give way to unveiling. Do not mourn the silence. Celebrate it, for it is proof that heaven valued you too much to release you too soon. And when you finally step into the open, the world will understand why you had to be hidden first. You stand at a crossroads. One path promises comfort, compromise, and ease. The other calls you into challenge, sacrifice, and glory. Every chosen one faces this moment, and it is never easy. The weight of destiny always requires decision. Think of Israel standing before the Red Sea. Behind them was slavery. In front of them, the impossible waters. They could have returned to chains. But instead, they stepped into the unknown and watched the sea split open. The path of compromise is familiar, but the path of the crown is miraculous. The Apostle James reminds us in his letter, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. Having stood the test, they will receive the crown of life the Lord promised." The crown is not given to those who quit when trials come. It rests on the heads of those who endure. There was once a young man named Daniel who faced this same choice. He could have bowed to idols, eaten the food of kings, blended in with the crowd, but he chose the harder path, obedience to God alone. That choice cost him ridicule and risk, yet it opened doors to wisdom, influence, and divine favor. His crown was not made of gold, but of authority and honor. Imagine a runner in a marathon. Halfway through, exhaustion tempts him to quit. The crowd shouts, some encouraging, others mocking. He could step aside, choose comfort, let go of the dream. But he lifts his head, sets his eyes on the finish line, and pushes forward. The reward is not for those who started it, is for those who finish. That runner is you, right now, choosing whether to retreat or advance. The crown is not easy to carry, but compromise always costs more. Compromise robs you of peace, drains your strength, and silences your fire. But choosing the crown, though difficult, fills you with joy that cannot be stolen. You may stumble, you may bleed, but you rise again with a fire that terrifies darkness. This decision cannot be made lightly. Heaven waits for your answer. Destiny bends according to your choice. And even though the path of compromise shouts louder, the whisper of the crown always carries greater weight. Pause for a moment. Feel the weight of this choice in your spirit. This is not just another day, it is a defining one. You are deciding whether to blend into the noise or rise into your calling. To mark this choice, I want you to write something in the comments. Keep it short. Keep it strong. Type these words: I choose glory. This is not just a phrase, it is a declaration. It means you reject compromise. You reject settling. You reject the easier path. It means you embrace the fire, the challenge, the cost of carrying your crown. When you type those words, you are not only speaking to yourself, you are sending a signal to heaven and a warning to darkness. You are aligning your heart with the crown that has been waiting for you since the beginning. Chosen one. You were not created to waver. You were created to decide, to step boldly, to wear the crown and walk the path of legends. Today is that moment. And let this be clear. When you declare, I choose glory, you are saying to your own soul that you prefer eternal reward over temporary ease, divine honor over fleeting approval, and the crown of life over chains of compromise. It is not only a sentence, it is a shift in destiny. Every story of a chosen one eventually reaches a turning point, where what was hidden becomes legacy. This is not just about your life, it is about the generations that will follow you. What you break, they will never have to fight. What you carry, they will inherit as blessing. Your decisions today echo far beyond the span of your years. Think of a farmer in the field. He plants seeds, waters them, and may not even live to see the fullness of the harvest. Yet his children and grandchildren will eat from what he sowed. That is you. The battles you face are not wasted. They are planting seeds of freedom for those who come after you. The Apostle Paul wrote in his first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58, Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the Lord's work. Every tear, every prayer, every act of faith, it has not been wasted, even when it felt like silence. Heaven was recording it. Your endurance is not just for you. It is like the roots of a great tree. They stretch deep into the earth, unseen, carrying nourishment not only for the trunk, but for branches that will bear fruit long after the planter is gone. You are that tree. Your roots of faith will sustain branches you may never see. Think of a torchbearer running through the night. The flame in his hand lights his path, but it is also passed on to the next runner. The race is not about one person, it is about the relay. You are carrying fire for those who will come after you. The flame you protect now becomes their starting point. Sometimes, legacy feels heavy, like carrying a stone uphill. But when you reach the summit and set the stone down, it becomes an altar, a place of remembrance for those who follow. They will see where you struggled, where you sacrificed, where you stood, and they will find courage to keep moving. This is why your story must not remain hidden. It is not just about surviving, it is about building a legacy that others can stand on. And legacy is not built in isolation. It grows stronger when voices join, when stories connect, when faith multiplies. That is why I invite you now, not as an order, but as a beautiful choice, to raise your voice alongside others. When you like, it is as though you are adding your stone to the altar. When you share, it is like passing your torch into another runner's hands. When you subscribe, it is like planting your roots deeper into a community that will nourish and sustain you. These are not empty actions. They are sacred acts of connection. You are not alone in this journey. Every simple choice to engage is like weaving another thread into a tapestry of faith. One strand may look small, but when joined with others, it forms a picture too vast and glorious to ignore. Chosen one. Heaven has called you a legend, not because of what you gain, but because of what you give. Your life is a gift, a flame, a root, a seed. And when you choose to lift your light and connect with others, the blaze only grows stronger. The roots go deeper. The harvest becomes richer. This is your legacy, and the world will remember. You have walked through battles that would have left others crushed, but you never walked them alone. Even when you felt abandoned, heaven was closer than your own breath. You may not have seen them, but angelic forces have been assigned to your life from the very beginning. You were never left to fight without help. Think back on the moments when danger should have overtaken you, but somehow you were spared. The accidents that never happened, the traps that fell apart, the unexpected strength that rose within you when you thought you had none left. All of these were not coincidences. They were evidence that heaven had dispatched warriors to surround you. The Book of Psalms, chapter 91. Verse 11 declares, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This is not poetry, it is reality, invisible to the eye, but undeniable in impact. Angels have guarded your path. Imagine a soldier standing watch through the night, vigilant even when those behind him sleep peacefully. He does not rest because his duty is to protect. That is what the angels assigned to you have done, holding their position, shielding you in silence, ensuring that you reached this very moment. Consider the story of Elisha and his servant. Surrounded by an enemy army, the servant panicked, believing defeat was certain. But Elisha prayed, and the servant's eyes were opened. Suddenly, he saw the hills filled with horses and chariots of fire, heaven's army encamped around them. The battle looked hopeless until the truth was revealed. They were never outnumbered. Neither are you. Your life has often looked like a lone figure standing in the middle of chaos. But in truth, you have been surrounded by unseen allies. Every step you take is reinforced by the armies of heaven. Picture yourself as a traveler in the wilderness. The path is uncertain. The night is dark, but torches of light appear ahead, guiding you where to step. That is how heaven has led you, sometimes through impressions, sometimes through sudden warnings, sometimes through peace you could not explain. You were being guided. step by step, by the hand of God and the presence of His messengers. Do not underestimate the weight of this truth. If angels are assigned to you, then your life carries more significance than you realize. No army is sent to guard what is meaningless. Your destiny carries such weight that heaven itself has dispatched forces to ensure it is fulfilled. This should give you courage. When you walk into the unknown, you are not walking alone. When you step into spiritual battles, you are not unprotected. You are accompanied by reinforcements stronger than any opposition. At times you may feel surrounded by enemies. But remember the truth of Scripture. You are actually surrounded by protection. Heaven has drawn a circle around your life, a shield that darkness cannot break. Chosen one, take comfort in this. You are not only chosen, you are covered. Every night you lay your head down. Heaven keeps watch. Every morning you rise. Heaven marches with you. Every step, every breath, every moment, you are never alone. And even when you cannot sense them, angels are still there, moving like silent sentinels at your side. Their very presence is proof that heaven has invested in your journey, and that you are too valuable to be left unguarded. So lift your head, walk with boldness. Do not shrink back from what lies ahead. The armies of heaven are already aligned, and the God who commands them has already declared victory over your life. There are moments when destiny shifts from something you hope for into something that cannot be undone. This is one of those moments. The fire of God does not simply visit you, it seals you. It brands your spirit with purpose, marking you in a way that no force of darkness can erase. Chosen one, when the Spirit descends like fire, it does not come to decorate you, but to transform you. It consumes fear. It consumes doubt. It consumes compromise, leaving behind only what is pure and unshakable. That fire is not meant to terrify you, but to testify you belong to heaven. Remember the story of Moses. He stood before a burning bush, and though the fire blazed, it did not consume the bush. From that fire came his calling, his assignment, his destiny. So it is with you. The flames you feel are not there to destroy you, but to ignite you. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 29, "For our God is a consuming fire." This fire is not like earthly fire. It does not leave ashes. It leaves anointing. Where others see smoke, heaven sees the fragrance of obedience. Imagine gold placed in a furnace. Heat surrounds it. Impurities rise to the surface, and what remains is brilliance. That is what your trials have done. They have not destroyed you, they have purified you. You are stepping out of the furnace sealed with glory, and this seal is permanent. Once God has marked you, no accusation can remove it. No failure can erase it. No darkness can override it. You carry His fire, and it is evident in the way you endure, the way you speak, the way you shine. Think of a candle that is lit from another flame. Though winds may try to blow it out, the original fire is never lost. It simply lights again and again. That is what has been placed inside you. You carry a fire that will never die. This is not a private fire meant to remain hidden. It is meant to spread, to set others ablaze with courage and faith. Your seal becomes their spark. Your testimony becomes their ignition. Chosen one, do not fear the intensity of this moment. The weight you feel is not heaviness, it is glory resting upon you. You are stepping into a new dimension, where the Spirit's fire has claimed you completely. To anchor this, I ask you to do something simple but powerful. Write this number in the comments: 555. This is not coincidence. 5 is the number of grace. And when it is tripled, it becomes a seal of overflowing grace upon your life. By writing it, you are declaring, I am marked. I am sealed. I am covered in grace that cannot run dry. Let this act be your agreement with heaven's fire. Just as Moses turned aside to look at the burning bush, you are turning aside now, acknowledging the flame that has chosen you. And from this moment, your steps will no longer be ordinary, they will burn with glory. And when you write 555, let it remind you that grace is not scarce, it is abundant. It covers your past, strengthens your present, and prepares your future. You are not moving forward in your own power, but in the overflow of God's favor. This simple number is more than digits on a screen. It is a prophetic symbol of your new identity. You are not only sealed with fire, but wrapped in grace. Walk boldly, for heaven itself has stamped its mark upon your life. Every chosen one must learn to discern the difference between a true voice and a counterfeit whisper. Not every word spoken over you comes from heaven. Some voices disguise themselves in light, but carry the weight of deception. You must sharpen your spirit, for discernment is the sword that divides truth from lies. The prophet Hosea warned of this danger in his writings. Chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. It is not the absence of passion that destroys it, it is the absence of discernment. Without it, the chosen can be led astray by flattery, false promises, and manipulations. Think of a traveler in a forest. Two paths open before him, both appearing safe. One is solid ground, leading to life. The other is covered by leaves, hiding a pit beneath. Without discernment, he would choose blindly and fall. With discernment, he notices the subtle signs, the ground's texture, the silence of birds, and avoids the trap. That traveler is you. Your future depends on seeing what others overlook. Even in Scripture, counterfeit voices rose up. False prophets promised peace when destruction was at the door. They told kings what they wanted to hear, not what God had spoken. Their words carried comfort, but no truth. And those who listened suffered. But those who held fast to the word of the Lord stood firm. Discernment is not suspicion, it is clarity. It does not mean distrusting everyone, it means trusting God enough to test every word, every spirit, every sign. The Apostle John once wrote, "Test the spirits, because not every voice comes from him. You carry the spirit of truth, and that spirit sharpens your hearing." Imagine an instrument being tuned. The wrong notes sound close to right, but the trained ear notices the difference. Likewise, false voices often sound almost correct. They mix truth with distortion, yet the spirit within you is like a perfect pitch, alerting you when something is off. You have likely already experienced this. Someone spoke with confidence, but your spirit felt uneasy. A door opened, but something inside told you not to step through. Later, you saw clearly it was protection. That inner stirring is discernment, and it has saved you more times than you realize. Counterfeit voices are not always loud. Sometimes they are subtle, appealing to your fears or desires. They may tell you to hurry when God says wait, or to compromise when God says stand. But the more you know His word, the more you recognize His tone. A sheep knows the voice of its shepherd, not because it studied every false sound, but because it became familiar with the true one, chosen one. Your destiny requires vigilance. Your crown cannot be entrusted to every hand. You must listen closely, weigh carefully, and hold fast to the voice that has never failed you. When others are swayed by flattery, you will stand firm. When others are deceived by imitation, you will walk in truth. Your legend is not just about shining, it is about discerning. And when you walk with clarity, no counterfeit can delay what heaven has decreed. And never forget this: discernment is not simply protection, it is preparation. God is shaping your ears to hear Him more clearly because the magnitude of your destiny demands accuracy. You cannot afford to follow an echo when the true voice calls. So guard your heart, weigh every word, test every spirit, and trust that heaven will never leave you without guidance. The light within you will always expose what is false, and you will move forward with unshakable confidence. There is a paradox woven into your story. The very places where you felt weakest have become the clearest stages for God's glory. You once thought your brokenness disqualified you, yet it has been the canvas upon which heaven paints its most radiant colors. The Apostle Paul understood this mystery well in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. He recorded these words: "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Notice the order. It is not in strength that God's power is perfected, but in weakness. The cracks in your life have never been liabilities. They have been openings for light. Think of stained glass in a cathedral. At first glance, it is just fragments of broken glass pieced together. But when the sunlight pours through, those very fractures transform into radiant patterns of beauty. That is your life. What once seemed shattered is now the very thing through which glory shines. Consider the story of Gideon. He called himself the least of the least, unworthy of leadership. Yet God chose him to lead an army with only 300 men. The victory was not in Gideon's strength, but in his surrender. His smallness made room for God's greatness. In the same way, your sense of insufficiency has only magnified heaven's sufficiency. You may remember seasons when weakness overwhelmed you. Perhaps you felt like a jar cracked too many times to hold anything valuable. But jars that crack cannot contain pride. They can only pour out what is inside. And in your case, what is inside is not emptiness, but spirit. The cracks have allowed living water to flow out, quenching the thirst of those around you. Picture a violin with a scratch on its surface. Some might see damage, but in the hands of a skilled musician, the sound remains pure, even more moving, because it carries the history of use. Likewise, your life is not ruined by its scars. It produces a deeper song, one that touches hearts precisely because it comes from imperfection touched by grace. Do not despise your weaknesses. They are not the end of your story, but the beginning of a greater revelation. The world celebrates flawless strength, but heaven celebrates surrendered weakness. For it is in surrender that miracles happen. Even Jesus, in his final hours, embraced what looked like weakness. He hung on the cross, broken and bleeding. To the world, it appeared as defeat. Yet that moment of apparent weakness shook the powers of darkness and opened the door of salvation for all mankind. If the Son of God could turn weakness into victory, so can you. Chosen one, your brokenness has never been wasted. The tears you cried in secret watered seeds of glory. The moments you felt disqualified became testimonies of endurance. And every time you rose again after falling, heaven applauded. So walk boldly, not in spite of your weakness, but because of it, for your weakness has become the stage where heaven demonstrates its unstoppable strength. And when the world sees you standing, shining, carrying light, even after storms, they will know it was never by your power. It was always God. Your legend is not forged in perfection, it is forged in redemption. And every fracture in your story has been transformed into a window for glory forward. That is the direction etched into your spirit. The chosen do not retreat. Even when fear whispers, even when obstacles rise like walls, you are carried forward by a momentum greater than your own. Heaven has already charted your path, and every step is part of a story written long before you were born. Joshua once stood at the edge of the Jordan River, carrying the weight of an entire nation. Behind him was the wilderness. Ahead of him, the promise. The waters blocked the way. But the command was simple: step forward. And when the priests placed their feet in the river, the waters parted. Destiny responds not to hesitation, but to movement. The Apostle Paul declared in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 3, verse 13, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. These words are not simply instruction, they are revelation. The past has already spoken. The future waits for your footsteps. The chosen cannot afford to stay frozen in yesterday. Think of a ship at sea. If it lingers too long in one place, it drifts aimlessly. But when the sails are lifted, even the faintest wind carries it toward new horizons. Your spirit is that ship. The Spirit of God is the wind. You were made to move. Or imagine an artist painting on a vast canvas. If he never lifts the brush, the image remains incomplete. Each stroke, each color, reveals more of the masterpiece. Your steps are those brushstrokes. Every act of faith reveals another piece of the legend heaven is creating through you. But no artist paints alone. Colors blend. Strokes connect. Textures form. In the same way, your journey is not solitary. Every time you share your story, every time you stand alongside others, the masterpiece grows richer. And here is where your simple actions become symbols. When you press like, it is not just a tap, it is like striking a drum in the distance, sending out a rhythm that others can march to. When you share, it is as if you are lighting another torch from your own flame, passing fire into hands that need warmth in their dark night. And when you subscribe, it is like stepping into a circle of warriors, saying, I belong to this company of the chosen. These are not mechanical clicks. They are choices. They are banners lifted high in a battlefield where too many walk alone. They are threads woven into a tapestry where your story joins others, forming patterns that heaven delights to reveal. Even your words matter. When you comment, it is like carving testimony into stone, leaving behind a monument that whispers to future travelers, someone stood here, someone endured, someone believed, and those words will echo, giving courage to strangers you may never meet. This is why moving forward is not only about your private journey, It is about becoming part of a greater current, a wave that cannot be stopped. Each choice you make to stand, to speak, to connect, adds force to that wave. Chosen one, you were not meant to drift in silence. You were meant to rise, to move, to join the sound of footsteps marching forward. And every simple act like share, comment, subscribe becomes more than action. It becomes testimony, rhythm, torch, and stone. The world will see not only one voice, but a multitude rising together. And in that rising, your legend takes its place among others, bright, unshakable, unstoppable. There comes a moment when what has been hidden cannot remain in silence any longer. Destiny does not whisper forever. Eventually, it speaks loudly, announcing itself to the world. You are approaching that unveiling, the hour when the truth of who you are will no longer be a secret but a testimony. Think of Joseph, who endured betrayal, slavery, and prison. For years he was unseen, overlooked, forgotten in the shadows. Yet in a single day, the king summoned him, and the world saw the wisdom that had been shaped in silence. He rose from prisoner to ruler, not because of chance, but because of divine unveiling. Your story carries that same rhythm. Years of hidden preparation, followed by sudden recognition. The prophet Habakkuk captured this mystery in his writings. Chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits, an appointed time, it speaks of the end, and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it, it will come. You have been waiting, sometimes painfully, but the appointed time always arrives. What heaven has decreed cannot be erased. Imagine a curtain in a grand theater. Behind it, actors rehearse. Sets are prepared. Music waits. The audience grows restless, not realizing the beauty being arranged in secret. Then, at the right moment, the curtain rises, and everything hidden is revealed. That is what your unveiling will feel like. The silence was not emptiness, it was preparation. Or think of the dawn. All through the night, the sun seems absent. The earth lies in darkness. Shadows stretch long, but without warning, the horizon brightens. Light breaks forth, and the night cannot stop it. Your unveiling will be like the dawn. It will not ask permission from darkness, it will simply rise. You may not even realize how many have been waiting for your light. There are hearts hungry for the story you carry. Lives that will shift when you speak. Chains that will fall when you step forward. What has been private pain is about to become public breakthrough. The unveiling is not about pride or applause. It is not about proving yourself to those who doubted. It is about showing the world what God can do with a surrendered vessel. The glory will not point to you, it will point through you. To the one who chose you, do not fear the unveiling. Sometimes recognition feels overwhelming. But remember, the same hand that hid you is the hand that reveals you. The same spirit that sustained you in silence will carry you in the open. You are not stepping into exposure alone. You are stepping into destiny with heaven as your shield. Picture a jewel kept in a chest for years, away from dust and careless hands. When the lid finally opens, the gem shines untouched, radiating beauty that time could not diminish. That is you. The season of concealment was protection, not neglect. The unveiling reveals not just who you are, but what you have become, chosen one. The curtain is rising, the dawn is breaking, the appointed time has come, and when the unveiling happens, it will be undeniable. Heaven has called you a legend, and now the world will see why. And when the unveiling begins, remember, it is not sudden, it is appointed. The years you thought were silence were God's preparation, and every hidden day has now become part of your testimony. So step forward without hesitation. The unveiling is not only about being seen, it is about being sent. You are being revealed not for applause, but for impact, to shine in places only you were chosen to reach. There is a crown waiting at the end of this journey, and it is not made of gold or jewels. It is woven from obedience, endurance, and faith. Heaven sees you already crowned. Even while the world still questions your worth, this crown is not given by men, so men cannot take it away. Think of the vision recorded in Revelation, where elders cast their crowns before the throne. They were not clinging to achievements or accolades. They were laying down glory before the one who made them worthy. That will be your story. The crown you carry is both reward and testimony, proof that you remained faithful when storms raged, when darkness pressed, when quitting seemed easier. The Apostle Paul wrote to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." This crown is not just for apostles or prophets, it is for you, for every tear endured, every trial overcome, every yes you gave to God when no one else understood. Imagine a warrior returning from battle. His armor is dented, his body carries scars, but his head is lifted high. The people do not cheer because he looks unmarked. They cheer because he endured and returned victorious. That is how heaven views you now. The scars you carry are not blemishes on your crown. They are jewels set into it. Or think of a runner who stumbles but does not stop. Bruised knees, burning lungs. Yet he reaches the finish line. The crown is not placed on those who never fell, but on those who kept moving forward. You have fallen, yes, but you always rose again. That is why your crown shines. The beauty of this crown is not only in its appearance, but in what it represents. It is not an ornament, it is identity. It marks you as one who refused compromise, who bore the weight of calling, who trusted when faith seemed costly. When heaven places it upon your head, it will not be as recognition of perfection, but of perseverance. There is also joy in this crown, for it is not heavy, it is light. It does not burden you, it frees you. You will walk with it not in arrogance, but in humble strength, knowing that every step has been upheld by grace. Picture yourself standing before the throne, surrounded by witnesses, prophets, martyrs, saints from every age. And in that moment, heaven's applause erupts, not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful, not because you were without weakness, but because you surrendered your weakness to his strength. Chosen one, this is the fullness of your journey. You began with hiddenness, walked through scars, carried light into darkness, endured storms, discerned truth, and bore fire. Now you stand crowned. Heaven calls you legend. and earth will soon echo the same. Your crown is not just a reward for surviving, it is a declaration that you were chosen, marked, and completed. You are the living proof that what God begins, He finishes, and nothing in this world, no rejection, no failure, no storm, could stop that. Lift your head. The crown is already upon you. Walk in its fullness. Live in its glory. You are crowned. You are complete. You are the legend. Heaven always knew you were. Chosen one. You have reached the end of this message. But it is not the end of your story. What you have heard is not entertainment. It is a reminder. A prophetic declaration that heaven calls you a legend. And legends do not fade quietly. They rise. They endure. They shine. Every scar, every hidden season, every tear you thought went unnoticed has been woven into this tapestry of destiny. You are not just surviving, you are living proof that light overcomes darkness, that storms cannot topple a rooted life, that weakness becomes the very place where glory is revealed. But remember this, your story is not just for you. Like a torch, it shines brighter when lifted high. Like a seed, it multiplies when planted in others. And this is why I ask you now, take a step that carries both beauty and purpose. When you like, it is as though you are lifting your torch, letting its glow reach further. When you share, it is like planting a seed into soil you may never see, but one day will bloom in someone else's life. When you comment, you carve your testimony into stone, leaving behind words that will speak long after this moment. And when you subscribe, you are not simply following a page, you are joining a circle of chosen ones walking together into destiny. Do these things, not because you are told to, but because they are invitations, simple, powerful acts of alignment, acts that declare, I am part of this story. I am ready for the unveiling. I choose to rise. Oh, so step boldly. Let your engagement become more than action. It becomes legacy. Heaven calls you a legend. Now let the world see why.